Okay, I think we're close enough to 6. Why don't we go ahead and get started? And I wanted to welcome everybody to the April 16th meeting of the City of Vista Planning Commission. And I've asked Lisa DeJesus to lead us in the flag salute tonight. Okay, could we get the roll call, please?
Vice Chair Grimm,
Here?
Commissioner De Jesus,
Here.
Commissioner Hastings,
Here.
Commissioner Looney, Commissioner Commissioner Martin,
Here.
Commissioner Savage, absent, Commissioner McCarthy,
Here.
Commissioner Looney, Student Commissioner Ortega, absent, Student Commissioner Takano, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'm sorry.
Vice Chair Grimm, I was just going to mention the oath of office was listed as the second item after the Pledge of Allegiance. Just for purposes of clarity and clarification, both Commissioners Bill Martin and Commissioner Clay McCarthy were actually sworn in last night by the City Clerk Kathy Valdez. So I just want to put that on the record. And also, if I can indulge to give me the opportunity to welcome Commissioners Bill Martin and Commissioners Clay McCarthy to the commission. Myself and the staff, we welcome you and looking forward to working together as we bring items before the commission. Thank you so much.
And the Planning Commission welcomes you as well. The next item is approval of the minutes. Are there any comments or changes to the minutes from last meeting?
Excuse me, Vice Chair Grimm, I believe the next item after roll call is the election of the chair and the vice chair.
Okay, I guess we have to have a motion to take that to the latter part of the meeting, right?
If you do decide to raise the possibility of moving that item and moving out of order in terms of how it's shown on the agenda, yes, you would have to have a motion and a second in order to move that item towards the end of the meeting and a vote to see if that actually takes place.
Very good. I would suggest that we move that to the end of the meeting because we have a couple public hearings here and it's really pretty much Planning Commission business. I also have a couple of items regarding the elections that I'd like to talk about, which may take a little bit of time. So if the commission would like, I'd like to have a motion to defer this to later in the meeting. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, Commissioner DeJesus?
I'd like to make sure that I'm clear. So we have two new commissioners, and glad they're here. And you had some comments to make before we elect officers. Can we hear your comments and then choose to either push it to the end of the meeting or maybe make a motion for it to happen now?
Sure. I'll give you my thoughts, and then the commission can decide what they want to do. Recently, we just lost our chairman who had probably served as chairman for about 6 years. And my thought, and I'd heard a couple other people mention at different times, that it's good having a chairman that does a really good job, knows what they're doing, but it doesn't offer opportunities to other people to fill those positions as vice chair or chairman. And so my thought was to discuss tonight the idea of having some kind of a system that's where maybe somebody serves for a year and then they vacate that so somebody else can have a chance. So we're not going to get a chairman for 6 to 8 years where everybody gets a chance, because if you look at the commissioners we have, every single one of the commissioners up here is capable of running a meeting. It's not rocket science, and sometimes it takes a few meetings to get going, but I think it would provide more opportunity for more people. So, am I going too much detail?
No, I just wanted to add for staff's benefit that if the commission wanted to so move to make rules in that nature, they could by majority motion. So they could determine that there would be particular terms for the chair and vice chair, because it's not currently designated.
Yeah, we currently follow the Roberts Rules of Order as the rules of procedure. So if the commission or Vice Chair Graham wishes to go into arena of discussing particulars of rotation or how rules of procedure should take place for the commission, I would advise and also look to Ms. Guy, but to actually have it properly agendized so that there can be proper motions and decisions made as to how the commission is carrying out the business of the commission. So that would be my recommendation.
Okay, let me just finish a couple of things, and then we can make a decision. I did just some brief numbers on the if you did some kind of a system where you had somebody only serve a year, and then maybe the vice chair served after that. In a 4-year period, you could accommodate 8 different commissioners in terms of filling, those 2 positions. So you'd get a lot of experience. A lot of people would get an opportunity. So that was the thought, behind that idea. So with that, what's the pleasure of the commission? My only thought would be it might take some discussion to get down to a little bit more of the details. So whatever your thoughts are, I'm good with. So.
Yeah, and I think understood. I think the staff understands the points being made, and I think it would be something that if it goes into more of a discussion amongst the commissioners, I think it's important to properly agendize it so there can be a discussion on the item or whatever comes of that discussion. It's my only concern is that right now on the agenda we have listed only the election of the chair and the vice chair. We don't have any particulars about the fact that there would be more discussion in terms of rules of procedure or Robert's Rules of Order as it relates to the election or how rotation takes place. So again, my suggestion is that in a future meeting to be proper agendized and that discussion be full on. But tonight, what is on the agenda is mainly the election of the chair and the vice chair. Thank you.
One thing I could add to Patsy's comments, and I agree with her about the need to agendize a more full discussion about an entire framework for rotation. If you wanted to limit the terms of those elected tonight, I believe it's within the noticing and the subject matter to say we are electing so-and-so as chair for the term of X. So you could limit it tonight with the idea that there'll be a more full discussion later on for an entire framework.
Okay, Commissioner DeJesus?
Thank you. I would be remiss to not mention the past chair, Rossler, and thanking him for his great leadership on this commission. But I'd also like to say that, we're all here as appointed folks by the city council, and at any given time when that term, our term comes up, we can either be reappointed or not. So if I'm here for 4 years and not chair, I'm okay with that. If I'm here for 8 years and chair, that would be great. I can go one way or the other. It's important that I'm sitting in the position I'm in to me. And with that said, I think it would behoove this commission to move forward with some officers in place at this particular meeting and not prolong the process. That's just my feeling. And to that end, I'm going to make a motion that we have the election of the chair and the vice chair now and table any ideas of term limits or whatnot to a later date where maybe we have an informal discussion of that if we're allowed to do that, or a discussion with staff at a later time to bring to agendize that item. So there is a motion to elect a chair and vice chair at this time.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, can I have your votes, please? And if you'd like.
Can I make a comment now? Yes, right? Discussion, and that is, do we want to consider Amanda's idea about limiting the people that are elected tonight in the motion?
Well, we have a motion on the floor. It would have to be amended.
I don't want to make that motion. I don't want to amend the motion just yet because terms of the officers was brought up kind of quickly, and I would just rather move forward. I don't know if this is the will of the commission. I'm perfectly open to that, but just moving forward and then having that discussed later and put on the agenda to discuss is my preference.
If I can provide a little clarification, the terms right now is a one-year term for the chair and the vice chair. So that means that every year around this time of the year, we would be having an election unless there's a prolonged period or shorter time frame. And I think Miss Amanda Guy would like to say something.
Yes, so I think what Commissioner Grimm was thinking of adding to that is a limitation that it would be 1 year and you couldn't serve a consecutive second year. So it would be the idea that you would be blocked from extending that term beyond 1 year, even though, yes, it would be annual elections.
Yeah, not forever, but you would be blocked from taking the next year. So some other people, the whole idea is so somebody else could have a chance. Any other discussion? If not, we have a motion on the floor. Cast your votes, please.
And please lock your vote. Did everybody lock your votes? Oh, okay. Could you, I'm going to cancel the vote because I just realized Commissioner Savage is not there. So that is preventing us from showing the vote. So I'm just going to cancel it for just 1 second, and then we're going to do this again. So just bear with me for a moment. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to do this again. And if you could please cast your votes now. Thank you so much, and please lock it in. Oh, here you go. Okay, third is a charm. All right, I'm going to have you actually do a hand vote, please. So that's the beauty of sometimes the system working and not working, but that's okay. We'll work through this. If you could please, those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. And it looks like, and nays. Therefore, a motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, I guess it is now open for nominations for chairman. Accept any nominations and all nominations?
I would go ahead if Commissioner Grimm, Vice Chair Grimm, is so inclined to accept and is interested in the position. I would nominate Vice Chair Grimm as chairman.
Thank you, I would accept that.
Lisa's the next speaker.
I'm sorry, Commissioner DeJesus?
I'm sorry, that's the first and the second, so you don't need.
It was just the first.
Oh, it's just the first.
We need a second to make the motion for a vote.
I'm going to second that.
So please cast your votes and lock it in. And let's see if it does come up. I'm not sure it's going to show up on the screen. It did not. So therefore, a hand vote, please. Those in favor of the motion, would you please raise your hand? Okay, it looks like motion passes unanimously.
And thank you very much. Did we want to do a vice chair today? Any nominations, please?
I would nominate Commissioner Looney as vice chair.
Yeah, I would accept that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor, please, I guess we're going to raise our hand still. Please raise your hand.
It looks like motion passes unanimously.
Very good. That completes the election process. What about a motion to set this on an agenda in the future if we're going to discuss the,
That can probably be done at the end of the meeting under commission's comments.
very good, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thanks for everyone for being patient as we went through that. The next item on the agenda, if I can find my agenda again. Changes to the agenda?
I believe the next item is the approval of the minutes.
I'm losing, maybe I shouldn't be chairman. And, if I do have the same agenda. Yeah. Very good, thank you. I'm so sorry, okay. Approval of minutes, any changes? If not, I'd like a motion for approval.
I'll approve the minutes as written.
Need a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Please cast your votes. All in favor, raise your hands, please. Abstentions?
Motion passes 501. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
I believe there is a comment that Commissioner McCarthy should have abstained. Ms. Guy?
Were you able to review the material, the video from the last meeting? No. Okay, then you're correct that there should be 2 abstentions.
Okay, very good. Okay, finally, any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Chairman Graham, the only notation that I'd like to make, if anyone in the audience is here for item PH2, which is P23-0399 Tangent Inc. for Verizon, that item will actually, it is not being taken out of order. It is here tonight. However, it will be continued. So I do not want you to sit here for 2 hours and realize that that item will not be heard tonight. And again, that's item PH2. So just wanted to make that as an announcement for the benefit of the audience here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a series, the next item is oral communication. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on something not on the agenda tonight? Seeing no one, let's move forward to the next item. And our next items are all public hearing items. I'll real quickly explain the process on that. Staff will give a presentation on the project. The applicant is then provided with an opportunity to speak about the project. The commission can then ask questions for the applicant or staff. And at that point, we will open the public hearing to all speakers that want to speak on the item. And just a reminder on that, we allow a maximum of 3 minutes for the comments on the project. Following that, the public hearing will be closed, and staff will be asked for responses or additional information, and following that, the commission will make a decision on the project. So with that, the first item is for a Type 20 beer and wine license located at Jackson Food Stores Incorporated. If we could have a staff report, please.
Sure. Thank you, Vice Chair Grimm, or Chairman Grimm. Commissioners, staff, members of the public, it's my pleasure to present to you tonight an application for a special use permit for Jackson's Food Stores, Inc., which is at the Shell gas station at 400 Sycamore Avenue, P240015. Request is for a special use permit for an ABC Type 20 off-sale beer and wine license at an existing gas station convenience store. Existing business is a Shell gas station and Jackson's Food Stores Convenience Market. Proposed hours of sale would be 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. No tenant improvements are requested at this time. History related to the alcohol sales and the current special use permit request for the subject site. Back on May 6th, 1997, site was previously approved by the Planning Commission for a special use permit for a gasoline service station, inclusive of a mini mart and drive-through window for a quick service restaurant. The Planning Commission at that time denied the special use permit request for the off-sale of beer and wine per Planning Commission Resolution 97-31. The denial of the special use permit by the Planning Commission was appealed by the applicant to the City Council. However, the City Council also upheld the Planning Commission's decision to approve the special use permit of the service station, mini mart, and drive-through quick service restaurant, but denying the request for an ABC Type 20 beer and wine sales at the specific location. Request for the SUP for the off-sale of the beer and wine was denied because the site, being located adjacent to Highway 78 and Sycamore Avenue, was near an intersection that had a high rate of accidents, thus fearing an increased possibility of safety issues if alcohol was more readily available. Additionally, alcohol sales were already available at less impacted locations nearby. This is the existing or the project site with surrounding land uses. As you can see, it's currently surrounded by commercial along Sycamore Avenue and University Drive, being specific plan area, and county jurisdiction to the south. General plan is currently GC, General Commercial, and the zoning is North County Square, specific plan, Area 5. This is the existing site plan and the proposed floor plan with the location of the beer and wine sales. In regards to the high crime beat 316, has an index of 145.6 of the citywide average for the year 2023. Anything more than 120% is considered a high crime area. It is common for off-sale alcohol licenses to congregate around commercial zones, corridors, thus the high concentration within this area. And Census Tract 199.02 is an overconcentrated census tract. They allow currently up to 2 ABC off-sale licenses, and currently 6 exist. That includes Santa Fe Petroleum, Target, Walmart, Aldi, Walgreens, and 7-Eleven. 2023 crime index by beat district. This is a map from the Sheriff's Department and the location of the subject site, and the locations of the off-sale licenses within the vicinity of the subject area. Santa Fe Petroleum is also considered within the census tract. Just this image just gives you a sense of how large the census tract is. Where the project site is located is where the majority of the off-sale licenses are located in North County Square, and Santa Fe Petroleum is caught in that census tract. The proposed use is consistent with the general plan and any applicable specific plan. Proposed use in the manner to be conducted is permitted in the applicable zone and will conform to the state, federal, and local laws and regulations. Site for the proposed use has a size that is sufficient to reasonably accommodate the planned activities. Design, location, size, and operating characteristics of the proposed use will be compatible with the existing and planned land uses in the vicinity. Proposed use at its location will provide the neighborhood and/or city with a service or facility that will contribute to its general welfare, and the proposed use will not be unduly detrimental to the health and safety and general welfare of persons residing or working in the vicinity. Staff's recommendation is to adopt a resolution granting a special use permit for the approval of an ABC Type 20 off-sale beer and wine license at an existing gas station convenience store on a 1.31 acre site located at 400 Sycamore Avenue. That concludes staff's presentation. Myself and the staff can answer any myself and the applicant can answer any questions you may have. There is no presentation from the applicant tonight.
Very good. Questions for the applicant or staff? If not, I had a question for the applicant.
Hi, good evening. My name is Steve Rollins. I'm a consultant for Jackson's Food Stores. I assist them with licenses and permits necessary to sell beer and wine or alcohol at their stores here in the state of California. I'll go ahead and take some questions. I do have a couple of other things I'd like to share with you, but please.
Okay, Commissioner Looney?
Yeah, thank you. This is for staff.
I'm sorry. I was a little bit remiss. I wanted to introduce the other people that are here with me, and they are from Jackson, so I apologize.
Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Ryan Pulver is the District 35 manager. He manages this store along with some other stores in San Diego County. Also joining him is our local store manager, Kristen, Kristen Casper, who's been the manager of the store for 5 years before even Jackson's took over. Tyler is the assistant store manager here at the at the store here in Vista. And we also have Erica Ponzo and Ariana Ariola, who are with Jackson Corporate in the merchandising and marketing side. So I apologize. I wanted to let you know that we had a whole team of people here.
No problem. Commissioner Looney?
Thank you. Question for staff. Are there any other areas in the city that have more liquor licenses than what is called out for in the master plan or general plan?
So the allowance for the liquor stores is coming from the ABC, Alcohol Beverage Control Board, through the census tract. There are a couple census tracts within the city of Vista that are currently over-concentrated, which include corridors along East Vista Way, South Melrose, and in this situation, Sycamore and University Avenue.
Do we have any documentation as to whether or not those areas experienced an increase in crime after an additional license was issued or granted by the city?
Not a specific finding, but if we wanted to get that information, I would have to go back to the sheriff's department and ask for that information for each census tract to see the crime index over the number of years. But the answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions for staff or the applicant? If not, thank you. Thank you very much.
Could I just bring up a couple of quick points? I had a chance to speak to Patsy and Rafi just a few minutes ago, and the floor plan that we submitted to you is the future floor plan. We are about to start tenant improvements, and I think they said they didn't realize that we hadn't started those tenant improvements just yet. So I just wanted a clarification on the record that the floor plan that you have is what it's about to look like, but we have not started those tenant improvements as of yet, but we intend to. We think it's going to be a vast improvement to the store, refreshing all of the interiors and expanding just slightly. If you walked into the store, there was a space that used to be the quick serve restaurant, and we've kind of moved some things over there. So I just wanted to make the clarification, and in talking to Patsy and Rafi, I think that they realize that as well.
Commissioner DeJesus, did you have a question?
Rafi, can you go back to the slide that shows where the licenses are in the area? Yeah. When the larger big box stores get the off-sale permits, and I think I asked this in the last meeting, I'm sorry, I don't remember. about a different license in a different intersection. Did the larger stores like Walgreens, Walmart, Aldi, and Target, do they have to come before a planning commission as part of their off-sale licenses?
So although the whole entire University Drive area is zoned North County Square specific plan, the property where the Shell gas station is planning area 5. The location of the Walmart, Target, the other areas are areas 1, 2, 3, and 4. In those areas, off-sale is permitted by right. So that's why you probably did not get the hearing at that time for those big box retailers. In regards to planning area 5, there is a section in North County Square specific plan where it notes specific uses and that it refers it back to our commercial C2, C3 zones, where in those zones, SUP is required for off-sale beer and wine, which is why it came forward to the Planning Commission tonight.
Thank you for explaining that. My comment is that smaller businesses, I'm a small business owner, and it's not a personal choice to say this, but I think it's like we see these big box stores getting the opportunity to sell, have a liquor license. And I read the staff report about the city manager and staff and the sheriff's department addressing this particular special use permit, and I'm satisfied with what I've read. And to that end, I'd like to make a motion to approve P240015 as written in the agenda. Is that correct?
I would second that motion, but I also have a request for a clarification from the applicant. You said the floor plan reflects what's about to happen. Is it still the intention that only 2 of the doors would be used for beer and wine?
I believe that number is actually 3, so I think that there was an error in that. The third one, and I'm very excited to talk to you about this, we had met with some of the elected officials out at the site and talked to them about our concept going forward. We have reached out to the craft brewers here in the city of Vista, and we are dedicating a cooler to local craft brewers, and we've been in touch with our various distributors there. The local craft brewers, they all have the same challenge. They can get people to come to their brewery, but then oftentimes it's, well, where can we buy this? So we think it's a great opportunity for ourselves and for the community to be able to highlight the Vista breweries and have one of our coolers dedicated to that particular section. So, so thank you for that question, and we're really excited about hopefully the opportunity to partner with some of the local brewers.
Very good. Thank you. This is a public hearing. I'd like to open the public hearing to anyone that wishes to speak. I don't see anyone coming forward, so why don't we close the public hearing and open it up for Planning Commission discussion. Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I have a comment. I agree with the Jesus that small businesses need an opportunity, and maybe this is an incorrect observation, but be that as it may, I see the potential for a possible increase of crime at 7-Eleven before I see it at a gas station. So I would be in support of granting this as written.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion? That was before the public hearing, wasn't it?
I make the
Yeah, if you
motion.
would redo it, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the item P240015 as written in the agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, cast your votes by raising your hand in favor. Very good. The motion passes. Thank you. Okay, the next public hearing tonight, the second item, as Ms. Chow indicated, has been continued, so we are at the third item tonight, which is a project on Santa Fe Place. The request.
Pardon me, Chair Grimm. I don't believe we made a motion to continue the item. So we need to continue it to a date certain and through a motion.
Okay. Do we have a date certain?
We do have a date certain, and that would be May 21st as the specific date to continue this item to.
Okay. Could we have a motion to that date certain?
I make a motion to continue item PH, I'm sorry, I lost it, to May 21st of this year.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, the next public hearing is on Santa Fe Place, and they are requesting approval of a site development plan to expand two existing commercial offices into a multiple-family residential project totaling 36 units. And if we could have a staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Grimm, members of the Planning Commission. The project before you tonight is a site development plan for Santa Fe Place. The application number is P23-0269. The subject site is located at 952 to 958 Postal Way. It's one legal parcel. The site maintains 1.36 acres, and it currently is developed with two-story office buildings. Surrounding land uses include commercial to the north, commercial to the east, multifamily residential to the south, and commercial to the west. Here's a few photographs of the site. General plan land use designation for the site is mixed use, maximum density of 40 dwelling units per acre. The zoning of the site is downtown Vista specific plan, South Gateway District. Maximum density is 30 dwelling units to the acre. The project before you tonight is a site development plan to repurpose two existing two-story office buildings into 36 apartment units on 1.36 acres, which equates to 26 dwelling units per acre. The project is proposing a density bonus by providing for 7 low-income affordable units. The project includes interior-exterior building improvements. Site modifications include a new trash enclosure, ADA parking lot striping, as well as perimeter fencing. As part of the density bonus, the applicant is allocated 2 development concessions. The applicant is proposing to eliminate the open space requirement pursuant to the Downtown Vista specific plan, as well as elimination of the required off-site improvements. The submitted site plan indicates Building A at 14,618 square feet would be converted into 24 units. Building B, located at the southeast corner of the site, would be repurposed to 12 units. Access to the site would be continued to be provided by 2 driveways, one off of Postal Way and one off of Santa Fe Place. In terms of parking, the Downtown Vista specific plan requires 1.25 parking spaces for 1-bedroom units. Total required for this project is 45 spaces. Provided on site would be 75 spaces. Staff notes that 19% of these units would be designated for low income, so state density bonus law would permit the parking ratio to be reduced down to 1 parking space per unit. In regards to perimeter fencing, the applicant is proposing a 6-foot-high tubular steel fence with automatic sliding vehicular access gates at each driveway, and that fence would span along the southern and eastern boundary of the project. In regards to floor plan, the submitted floor plans indicate Building A would be repurposed to provide 12 one-bedroom units on the first floor, 12 one-bedroom units on the second floor. Building B would be repurposed to accommodate 6 units on the first floor, as well as a laundry facility, as well as 6 units on the second floor. The 2 existing buildings are 2-story in height. The architectural enhancements committed by the applicant include decorative facade screens, accent medallions, as well as lantern light fixtures. The building would also include windows and doors of residential application. Once completed, both buildings would be painted an earth tone color scheme. Here's another perspective of the site showing the architectural enhancements proposed. The general plan land use designation for the site again is mixed use, 40 dwelling units per acre. The proposed 36 units would equate to 26 dwelling units per acre. In regards to the Downtown Vista specific plan, it meets most applicable development standards, In terms of building height, the maximum height within the specific plan is 45 feet. The existing buildings reach a total of 35 feet 5 inches. In regards to parking, the requirement is 45 parking spaces, provided would be 75 spaces. In regards to open space, the specific plan requires 7,200 square feet. The applicant is requesting concession to eliminate that requirement. And in regards to landscaping, 5% of the lot is required to be allocated to landscape improvements, and 21% is currently being provided. This project went before the Planning Commission in June 6th of 2023 for an early design review. Since that time, the applicant has worked in order to resolve some of the issues identified during that meeting. Those items include laundry facilities within each unit. The applicant is proposing a 146 square foot common laundry room on the first floor of Building B. The laundry room would provide 3 washers, 3 dryers for the entire complex. This type of facility is typical for affordable housing project, and staff is supporting this request. In terms of fencing, the Planning Commission suggested a cedar wood fencing as an alternative material to wood or wrought iron. The applicant is proposing a 6-foot-high black wrought iron fence along the southern and western boundary of the site, eastern boundary of the site. In regards to pedestrian access, the project is providing 1 access point for pedestrian access along Santa Fe Place and 1 along Postal Way. And in regards to open space, the Planning Commission encouraged the applicant to increase the open space on the western edge of the site. As I indicated before, pursuant to state density bonus law, the applicant is utilizing a concession to relieve the project from open space requirements identified in the specific plan. With that, staff is recommending the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving a site development plan to repurpose 2 existing commercial office buildings into multifamily residential housing for a total of 36 apartment units, including 7 low-income units, a 1.3-acre site located at 952 and 958 Postal Way. That concludes staff's report. A representative of ownership, Darshan Patel, is here to answer any questions the Planning Commission might have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Questions from the commissioner for either staff or the applicant? Commissioner Looney?
A couple of questions of maybe staff first and then the applicant, but are these units heated and cooled by room units or rooftop units?
I'm happy to answer. Darshan Patel, representing the applicant here. To answer that question in particular, is each unit will have its own heating and AC facility within each particular unit that they're able to control.
So like a mini split system in each room?
Correct.
Okay. And then we've got a lot of wrought iron fencing. And with that community being the way that it is there some type of maintenance agreement the city has to repair these fence pickets in the event that they're damaged or broken? Is there a time frame when that has to be done, or is it completely up on the owner to maintain the fence in the manner in which he deems appropriate?
Yeah, that would be something that would be addressed through code enforcement. So if there was a complaint or it being identified, then code enforcement would provide the owner with a violation in terms of a inconsistency with the conditions of approval. So that's how it would be addressed from the city standpoint.
And Commissioner Looney, if I can add to that, we saw the previous request of adding a wood fencing along the entire site there. I think the problem that we're having even currently is that there is a temporary fence that's up that does have a tarp to just try to protect the area as it is. And we find ourselves out there almost twice a week at this point in time trying to just clean off the graffiti that we're finding on those tarps. And we were issued code enforcement letters to avoid that graffiti. Obviously with wrought iron fencing, which has posts every 6 inches, trying to graffiti posts is a lot more difficult than a flat panel face, and that was one of the reasons why we decided to go with the wrought iron fencing there instead. Mr. Ressler, if you don't mind just bringing up the site plan, just so that I can show one other item here in regards to the damage that Commissioner Looney was referring to. Perfect. It's a little hard to see here, but there really isn't any cars that are abutting the fence directly, and that tends to be the reason why fence posts will get damaged, whether somebody is pulling in too much or perhaps backing in too much, and then it'll get dented, things of the sort. But seeing as there's landscaping and a sidewalk on either side of the fence for the most part, that really doesn't allow for that type of damage to occur. And where damage might be prevalent is perhaps in the gate functions themselves, and those items will be something that we would be taking care of pretty much immediately, because if the gates are actually damaged, then they won't function properly and doesn't allow for proper ingress and egress.
I think the wrought iron is a better solution rather than creating a canvas for miscellaneous artwork. So on that note, I think it would be important for your plant palette to be selected such that it's going to reach a height of 5 to 6 feet, to where we can provide additional screening for that wrought iron fence. And it also provides another layer of security. Again, depending upon that plant palette, it could be very helpful in reducing any damage that might be done to that fence.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Other questions for the applicant? If not, I had a question for you. I was down as part of reviewing as a planning commissioner. I was down looking at the property today, and I noticed there's a number of cars in the lot there, and it didn't really look like workers. What's happening on site, I guess?
Sure. When we purchased this property, it was an office building. And what we were led to believe by the previous owner is that the tenants that were occupying those office buildings were actually office tenants. What we came to find out is that they actually weren't office tenants, and they were somehow making their way to actually living there in some way, shape, or form, which prompted us to begin this process and this was a thought that we had initially had, which was converting an office building over to apartments as it began. And seeing as those people were already in the building, speaking with city staff, understanding their plight and circumstances at that point in time, we didn't necessarily want to kick them out on the street, as they are lower income, households, and they had people there. So we started moving expeditiously to try to get that property converted as quickly as we possibly could. And so those people are currently living there on site. We had made sure with both city staff as well as ourselves that all health and safety, measures were taken in terms of what currently is there. It's one of the reasons as well that we are proposing this 20 or 19% affordable component as well, which, 7 units of the 36 will be deed restricted for 55 years, which will allow a lot of these people that are currently there the ability to remain there after the improvements have taken place.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Other questions? If not, thank you very much.
Sure, of course. Thank you all.
If there's no other questions, I'd like to open the public hearing for anyone that has the wishes to speak. I do have a speaker slip that would be the first speaker would be Jacob Aldridge. You have 3 minutes, Mr. Aldridge.
Thank you. City of Vista, I'm here because we have a housing shortage. A 3-bedroom home costs over $4,000 a month in mortgage payment alone. To solve this problem, we need more housing. We need dense mixed-use housing near transit centers. I believe the proposed project is moving in the right direction. It is located half a mile from a train station and close to bus stops. It is surrounded by shops, markets, and services. It repurposes unnecessary office space, providing needed housing and dense tax revenue for the city. If I understood the staff presentation correctly, there was an exception applied for like an open use section. It's less than half a mile from a park, providing that need. And thus, I recommend the City of Vista to take this and other steps towards addressing the housing shortage and approve this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Other speakers? If not, I'll close the public hearing and open it up to the Planning Commission. Comments, please? Commissioner Looney?
Sorry, I just got a lot of questions. It seems that there's one entry and one dedicated exit. On Santa Fe Place, it says driveway exit. So if I'm understanding correctly, there's one entrance onto this complex off of Postal Way. I'm just reading what is on the site plan.
I apologize. Yes, I think they are utilizing Santa Fe Place for emergency vehicles only. The pedestrian access would be provided on Postal Way and Santa Fe Place. You're correct.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, thank you. One of the things that the commission has dealt with in the past is we get projects like this in front of us, and the renderings are very nicely done. And then when the project is constructed, the building doesn't look anything like what the commission approved. You've done a great job in preparing renderings. The commission will hold you to this color palette, to the decorative screening. So when we have our building inspectors go out for final inspection, staff is going to have them use this as their guide. So that's one of the things that we've been placed here for, is to ensure the beautification of our city. This is a great improvement, and we don't really want to see it go backwards to what we see currently on Postal Way. I do have one question, either for staff or for the applicant. If you could better explain what the green accents are on the exterior of the building. Is this a green stucco? Is it a green tile? It's somewhat out of the norm.
I'll add to that. It's, for whatever reason, the programming, when we look at it on a computer, it doesn't appear that way. But somehow when we send that out for actual print and we send it and convert it into a regular PDF as opposed to viewing it onto an architectural program, it comes out as this greenish color, and it really does look like a green thumb. And so it's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look more earth tony, similar to the rest of the building. where it's more of your beiges and things of that sort. It's not our intention to add that green type of tint
Okay.
to it.
Because that was something that I noticed. I think it might be to your benefit to submit to staff a color board that specifies the manufacturer of the paint or the color of the stucco for all the exteriors. I don't know if we can do that or not, but something that matches what we see, because I understand how you see a rendering on the computer and it looks great, and then you hit print and you're asking yourself, where did this come from?
Right.
But this is all that we have to go off of right now. So again, I don't know.
During building plan check, I typically require them to provide a manufacturer spec, and I validate the color choice in relationship to the approved elevations. And second, the elevations don't call out a green color, so I was a bit surprised when, unfortunately, I got the perspectives late in the process, so when I saw that, that was a bit surprising for staff as well.
Okay. And then I like your decorative screening. The patterns that you've proposed, I think work well. So we're going to want to see in the final approval, of the building, something that's very similar to what we have.
No, of course, and that's understood. And then
Okay.
Mr. Ressler and our team, we have gone back and forth on the renderings. I think we dedicated almost 3, if not 4 weeks, if that's not right, Mr. Ressler, in terms of just what the exterior was going to look like in terms of the features and elevations and such. So we've spent a lot of time on that detail, and we expect to carry that out for sure.
Okay. One last question.
Please.
Since these are individual living units, what is being done to ensure sound isolation between, or to the individual units, and preventing sound transfer between the walls?
Sure, of course. That's something that we take very seriously. When it comes to any of our previous projects that we have done as well, there are certain things that our engineers will look for. We usually will bring on a subset of our structural engineer, which will be a noise consultant, that'll be actually seeing other ways that we can ensure that noise stays to, a bare minimum. So things such as, staggered studs, making sure that we're not having any outlets that are back to back with one another, allowing for easier transfer. Insulation is another thing that we take very seriously, especially when it comes to, between bedrooms, things of that sort. And so we'll be working with our consultants as well when it comes to the actual construction drawing phase of it to ensure that there's limited noise transfer between the units.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your answers.
Sure.
Other questions or comments? Commissioner Hastings?
Just to add to that, and the laundry room, one of the apartments backs onto the laundry room, which either makes that a very positive experience or terrible.
Yes.
So
That's
the extra insulation there.
yes, especially for the dryer that's there,
Yeah.
and I think we all know when our use of dryers, they tend to rattle a bit, and so we have that in mind for sure. Thank you.
Very good. If no other questions, I had a question. With regard to the density bonus, we're trading off some public improvements. Are these anything that's major in terms of public improvements?
Staff included a few of the items in the staff report. It included minor repairs to both streets, Postal Way and Santa Fe Place, as well as upgrades to the pedestrian ramp and the drive approaches to the site itself. However, staff confirmed with the Land Development Division that there weren't any life safety issues or any items that would be inconsistent with the requirements, current requirements. Typically, these type of upgrades would be done if off-site improvements were required, the ramps and the drive approaches. But seeing that they're waiving the requirement to improve the street, it wouldn't be appropriate to include those because of the nexus of between the off-site improvements and the proposed requirements.
Great, thank you.
I had a question for staff as well.
Yes.
Given that we already have tenants out on the site, I'm not seeing any kind of a condition that would prohibit the applicant from housing additional tenants before the conversion is completed. So is there a way that we could add a condition to require a certificate of occupancy prior to any new tenancies or a final inspection? Is there some way that we could kind of head that off?
The building department does not issue certificate of occupancies for multifamily residential buildings, apartments. So typically, it would be done during final inspection. If it's, the planning commission chooses to, we could craft a condition potentially to prevent future occupancy prior to final inspection of units.
If you don't mind, I'll add just one note, which is there is a memo of understanding that we have between ourselves as well as the city that does state the number of tenants that are currently there and that there won't be an increase. I think this was agreed to earlier last year.
And that's a signed document?
I believe it is, yes.
To add to Mr. Ressler's comment, if you wanted to have a condition that caps the current tenancy at what is currently existing at the site, that would be something within the commission's authority to do that. We could incorporate by reference the memo that you're referencing. I haven't reviewed that, but that could be referenced in the condition as well.
Yeah, I'd just like to make sure that the conversion's completed before we get additional tenancies out there.
Of course.
Good comment. Other comments? If not, I'd like to ask the student commissioner, Takano, if she had any comments on this. Thank you. I believe that that's all the comments. A motion would be in order.
I make a motion to move forward and approve the P230269 for the site development plan as written, with the condition of that limiting, or that previously assigned or signed document that limits the number of current occupants.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Passes unanimously.
Thank you for your time and
Thank you.
consideration.
Okay, next on the agenda is reports from commission members. Is there anything from the commission?
I would like to echo Commissioner DeJesus's comments regarding Chairman Rossler and thank him for his many years of dedicated service to this planning commission and to the city of Vista and his assistance in making this all a better community for all of us.
Absolutely. Rick did a great job. Okay. Comments from staff?
So it looks like we're going to have a meeting on May 7th. There are about 3 items right now that are tentative items to be on that hearing. And then we might also end up having a meeting on May 21st. So, sorry, there'll be back-to-back meetings, a couple of items actually on May 21st. And that's pretty much what we have at this point. Thank you very much.
Very good. I believe we need a motion for adjournment. Or do we need a motion? No. Okay, if there's no other comment, we're adjourned. Thank you.